Yo, what is up? This is your boy Guru back with a new video. Swedish medium tanks are coming our way. These turreted medium tanks that look like the UDES. They have the suspension thing where you can increase your gun depression and shit. That looks awesome. And they've got this. They look super space age, and they have this sloped armor that's just gonna bounce everything frontally. It's just gonna be an amazing bridge player. I think everybody's gonna be wanting this tank, and today's video is gonna be how you're gonna get there as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible. So maybe in a few days this tank is going to be released, so better get straight to it and get to work on grinding your Swedish tanks. This is the tier 7 where it branches off from of course the tier 7 Leo. This is an old video actually, but I'm re-uploading it because it's still relevant. I'm just doing the voiceover, a new voiceover to update it to the latest version. So what I did was, in this line, is what I'm going to do is actually free XP the tier 6, the STRV-74, and it's going to take you 65,000 free XP to free experience this thing up to tier 6 stock. So with this thing stock, what I suggest you do is, well, you're going to spend 85,000 free XP if you want it fully upgraded, but upgrade it for 65,000 free XP. It's pretty cheap. Then you go into strongholds and tier 6 strongholds. If you have them in your server, you play about 6 hours of strongholds in tier 6s, and you can earn the 60,000 XP to get to the tier 7 Leo. So once you get into once you get the 60,000 and get the research the Leo, and you need to spend another 16,000 free XP just to get the final gun. And the reason why I'm doing this is, we're going to try to be as frugal as possible. We're not going to research everything with free XP. So we're going to buy the suspension. We're going to use a gun laying drive, and we're going to use this the rammer and the gun relaying drive and the suspension. And then we're going to play enough games to research the suspension, the tracks. And once you got the tracks, then you can remove the suspension, and you're going to replace that with optics. Now that is the cheapest way to do it, and which is why I'm offering you this option. So I didn't have great crew when I was researching this. This was if you look at the date on this thing, it's like 2017 or something like that, a long time ago. This was a video from a long time ago. So basically, in 3 days of grinding in the STRV tier 6 in strongholds, you could get your crew up to your crew up to almost 100%, which is the reason why I did this in tier 6 strongholds. You spend the 60,000, 65,000, get this tank, retrain the new crew, and if you have the time to train that crew up to 1 skill or 2 skills crew, then when you transfer this crew straight to the Leo, you're not going to spend too much gold and free XP to train them up again. Alternatively, if you have one of these premium tanks in tier 6, this is a pretty cheap tank. I think it's $16 to get this tank. You can train your medium tanks in this tank, no problem. Your Leo crew and all your medium tank crews, the turreted, the one that looks like the newest ones anyway, the UDES stuff. It's going to be the 3-man crew. If I'm not mistaken, it's the commander, the driver, and gunner, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, it's only three crew. So, and here what I'm trying to tell you to do is get your crew past 40% training skills, your first skill, before you retrain them. If you're going to retrain them for credits, the cheapest way to do it is, of course, with credits instead of gold. So if you have your first skill past 40%, like for instance your 6th sense past 40%, when you retrain for credits, you're not going to lose that you're not going to lose that sixth sense skill. I hope you get what I mean. Two weeks later, I followed up with this clip, this video. I'm running optics, gun laying drive, and rammer, and here's a demonstration of how it works. The aim time is atrocious. It takes forever to aim, which is why I'm running the gun laying drive on this. If you don't have a great crew, like a 5-skill crew or 4-skill crew or whatever, if you don't have BIA, I suggest you run that gun laying drive, because it's just going to help you aim a little bit better. As you can see, it takes me forever to aim here, and the reload time is 10 seconds on the big gun. So if you're using the big gun, the GLD works best for me. I mean, you can run 2 guns on this tank. There's one 75mm gun with 150 damage and 3.88 seconds reload. This is the one I'm using, 105mm gun with 300 average damage and 10-second reload. Now it plays a lot like a common if you're using the small gun, and if you're using this big gun like I'm doing, this thing actually shoots like a T-20. If you're familiar with that tank, the American medium tank. There's a lot of people that like the Comet gun. The Comet gun is really popular. I think a lot of players that like the DPM, you know, move around quickly and use that gun to out DPM people, and that works as well. I opted for the Alpha gun, 300 damage. And this is my final choice. I decided to run optics, rammer, GLD, and mind you, I do have only a 1.8 skill crew at this point, which is like absolutely trash crew. It doesn't even have BIA. But the change I did make was I used food, the cinnamon and chocolate and cinnamon, coffee and cinnamon buns, and that made a lot of difference with the accuracy of the gun, because it helped me snapshot. It feels like a completely different tank after you started running food. Before running food, it was just absolutely terrible to play. It took forever to aim, and to hit your shots reliably was just really difficult. But after running food on this tank, I felt that I could easily play this tank with the big Alpha gun. It worked a lot better. But again, you need to try out both guns. The 75mm and the 105 have different play characteristics. If you're aggressively playing the ridges and stuff, you might like the 75mm gun more than you would like the 105 300 Alpha gun. But to each his own. There is no downside or upside in using both guns. It's just a personal preference. I like the 300 Alpha because that was the way I used to play this tank. If I revisited this tank again today, maybe I might go for the 75mm. I don't know for sure. You need to try this for yourself and work it out on your own if which gun is more suitable for your playstyle. Now, buyer beware, if you do opt for the 105 big Alpha gun, you really need to make sure that you have food with your tank, or relatively, or even better, if you have BIA crew and food, it's going to work really well. But if you don't have a good crew and you want to use this gun, I do suggest that you get food. You cannot be cheap. You need to spend on that food and use food with this gun. But if you're on the 75mm gun, perhaps you can run the fire extinguishers instead if you want to save a little bit of credits. And I guess that's all I have for you about this tank. I hope you enjoyed this video and have a little bit insight, and hope you're having a good grind when you are getting your Swedish medium tanks. I suspect the tier 8, tier 9 and tier 10 are going to be fantastic tanks, and I'm going to keep 2 out of 3. I'm sure I'm going to keep the tier 10, but maybe the tier 8 and the tier 9 as well. I don't know for sure. But thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.